Okay. Let's see. What else do I want to open? I need that open. I can probably also stop hiding my face. Whoops, wrong one. Wait, where am I? There I am. Ah. Oh boy. Oh damn, I need music. God, no wonder it sounds so silent and depressing right now. Okay, got that going. Thank you, Photoshop. Let's see, I just need to go. We're just gonna get the lo-fi station going, I think. Yeah, I think lo-fi is just the right vibe for all these writing streams here. There we go. Oh boy, looks like my camera has frozen. Gotta love that. Alright, hold up. Hold up. Hold it up just a minute. There we go. Okay. Okay. Minimize that one. Don't need that one open. One of these days, I'm going to be able to start things up. And just from the get-go, it's going to all go smooth. It's all going to go nice and easy. Won't have to worry about anything. Yes, I want you to sync. I always want you to sync. I don't understand why it freaks out and makes me choose to make it sync. Like, it's the whole point of all the Microsoft Cloud and shit. Okay. There we go. Starting almost an hour after when I had intended to start. And as such, this is going to be a shorter session. Because I do have to log off at 4:30 my time sharp. And as it's 3:20 my time, gives us an hour and 10 minutes. So it will be shorter. That's for sure. But we can go ahead and get working on something. We can do something. And I'm trying to decide what I want to work on. I had originally planned for today to work on... no. To be over here on our island and work on sort of the whirlpool thing that I had been sort of just kind of kicking around a couple ideas for. But I don't know if I'm feeling that today, honestly. It's been a long day for me. Long day. And I don't know that I'm really in the mood to be, really in the headspace to be super thinky when it comes to trying to make like a cohesive storyline or something. I almost kind of want to work on just having some fun goofing around with like the enchantments and the like personalities, the possible personalities for different spells and stuff. I kind of just want to do that. I don't know. Turn my volume down a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of what I want to work on today. I mean, there's no rush for me to finish the to do the whirlpool, so I kind of just want to do the just work on having some fun with the spells. It's like a low-key project that I want to work on and want to build, and it's good for world building and just generalized environment inspiration. So I don't know that there's a good reason to not do it. So I think that's what I'm gonna do today. That's what we're gonna do. So let me pull up eventually this poor computer. Oh boy, this poor computer, it's been slowing down on the internet a little bit lately, I've noticed. And it's expected. This is an old computer. It's expected, but I don't know, I just feel bad. I get attached to... Gosh, this song is really loud. I'm just gonna skip it. It's a loud song. I'm not feeling it. But I'm the kind of person who gets pretty attached to his objects and items. Like I definitely attribute like personality traits to my things. So it's hard to see this computer aging out for me, but I am excited about my new computer, which actually, as of yesterday, has been upgraded from in the queue to it has, according to the notifications that I get about it, it is now not just in line to get made, but it has been manufactured, or assembled, I suppose is a better way to put it. It has been assembled. Okay, yeah, I did do that. It's been assembled, and it is now going through sort of the integration process. They do some, they do, the company I went through, they do a burn-in process. Allegedly they do that overnight for whatever computer they have, so hopefully that means that tomorrow it will be passing whatever benchmark tasks they have for it, and it'll be shipped out early next week. That's what my hope is, because it would be very cool to have a new computer again. What the hell was I working on? I was working on conjuration spells. Okay, hold on. So I need to set some filters here. Do cantrips and conjuration is what we were working on. Yeah, I think those were the only ones. So let's filter them. So we did that, and then we just set it up as, yeah, alphabetical order. Oh, we don't even need to work. We got the cantrips done. How about that? What? Okay, so perfect. Then we can go ahead and, let's see, here's what we're going to do. We're going to copy both of these. Just copy it like that, so that way we can come down here. Wait, if we do, yeah, there we go. Although, just for the sake of, I don't know, for the sake of, I don't even know what, but we're going to add a little bit of space there. I think that's just more visually appealing. And there's nothing wrong with being visually appealing, am I right? So, neat. Okay, so we need to edit these filters a little bit. So we don't want cantrip, we want spell level 1. And filter them spells, baby. Oh, we need to change this. It's not cantrips. Level 1. Yeah. There it is. There it is. Cool. It's already set up. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and go through here, and yeah, I'm just gonna. So just for the sake of explaining for anyone who drops in or watches the VOD and hasn't seen me work on this before, I have a system. We can actually go check it out in mechanics here. I have a system. It's not even my system. I've borrowed the common crafting system. That was kind of created, forget who it was who originally created it. It just kind of makes the circles on like various forums and boards and stuff, but system made to sort of simplify and have a cohesive, one-size-fits-all sort of crafting mechanic for players in D&D. And I've sort of expanded upon that to allow for enchantment, so long as someone is a magical user and they can, you know, use and channel magic is sort of the requirement, the prerequisite, so to speak. You know, the same as how someone who wants to do, you know, make some armor or something would have to be proficient in, excuse me, in this, that, or the other skill, or, you know, have like the proper tools for it and everything like that. Magic users are required for that. But I have a system where I allow players to do their own enchantments, and I've sort of to make it a bit more interesting and sort of try to balance things using the existing balances within the D&D ecosystem. I've kind of created this system where upon beating a boss, there's a chance that what I call a spell or an enchantment token will drop from that boss. It's a very gamey, very game mechanic type of thing. It doesn't really jive with full immersion, but I mean, we are playing a game, so I don't worry too much about it, and it's generally met with positive reviews from players who like the idea of it and like sort of the added intrigue it does. But the monster can potentially drop an enchantment token, which can then be used. That enchantment token has basically the magical capabilities of one spell imbued in it, and then that can be used to then further imbue the spell onto an item, either article of clothing, piece of jewelry, a weapon, whatever strikes the person's fancy. And it's just a way to sort of, for me, and I explain it a lot, and I'll say it again as many times as it ever becomes relevant, but I am not a fan of just utilizing magic weapons in the sense of like +1 sort of +1ing or whatever. I know there's concerns with the way I do it, throwing off the balance, which I'm not super concerned about because I'll just throw more enemies at them. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not that big of a deal to modify a combat or anything on the go so that it's an appropriate challenge for players. I don't see why anyone ever uses that as a reason not to do something. I can understand if you mod a video game and accidentally make it too easy and being concerned about that. Because if you mod it and make your character too strong, the game might not just inherently scale the enemies with it, but I can scale the enemies in real time, so it's just not a concern to me. At any rate, I like doing that instead of just like magical items, because I like for players to be able to have the opportunity, if they're so interested, in incorporating new things to their weapons, so that way to the weapons that they already have, or if they find a different weapon as they go around but then become attached to it, just being able to give a weapon sort of that personal touch, that je ne sais quoi, for whatever it is they want to achieve with their character, whether it's via backstory or via specific flavors of fighting and attack abilities and everything like that. I just think it's better. I think it's more fun. It's better for narrative immersion if players are attached to who their character is, how their character was designed, and what their character uses. It is an extremely classic. It's a staple trope of fantasy and sci-fi to a lesser extent, but definitely fantasy, for a character to have, the goblin cleaver handed down from, my grandfather to my father and now to me. That is such a common thing. Like, every sword is named, every weapon has a history, and if there's ever a new weapon made for a main character, it's always because it was made with a specific purpose, with a specific spell and installed in it. And I like giving players the opportunity to do that. And so we use the common crafting system. It does, the way it works is like, the simplest way of describing it is, during downtime, players roll a d20, add whatever proficiencies they have for whatever it is they're trying to craft, or in conversation of what we're doing right now, or enchant. They can add the bonus to whatever proficiencies, and that's how many crafting points they get towards the completion of that project. And then once they've gotten the necessary crafting points that they need, the project is complete and they have crafted whatever it is they're trying to craft. So spelling with enchanting, like, the player needs to have the enchantment token, because that's how you can imbue the item onto whatever item you're trying to imbue it on. And the ability to use magic, and then preferably what I always like to do as well, but I leave this one up to the players if they want it to be this complicated, they also need the toolkit that would be necessary for imbuing it on whatever item. So if they're trying to imbue it on a pair of leather gloves, they need leather working stuff, so that way they can do the stitching for the like spell circle or whatever, however you want to do it, however you want to flavor it. You know, they need the leather working tools, or if they're going to put it on a sword, they need to have the smithing tools and the ability to do that. So it's like there's a lot of components that go into it. So it's not like we're handing out all of this magical stuff. But yeah, that's what they can do about. Oh, and the other thing too that limits it as well is it scales. How many points they need scales heavily with what the level of the spell is that they're trying to imbibe. A cantrip, they'll probably be able to get it done within a week. You know, because cantrips are, you know, the point of them is that they're not overly powerful. They're just like tools. It's like, you know, it's like a cantrip is like, you know, your flathead screwdriver. It works on just about everything. It's slow, having to do it by hand. It's not super powerful. You know, it takes forever, and you can only do as much torque as your grip allows. But it is one of the most staple tools in your toolbox, and it's ready to go whenever, and it's not overly powerful. You know, and then a level 9 spell is like having that super specific Dremel tool with, you know, the high rotary engines and everything, and you know, with like the exact specific bit that you need for that one specific job, you know, where it has very limited utility, but damn is it perfect at doing that. So I don't know, with that explanation sort of in place of why we're doing this, what I've been working on is just sort of a background project when, you know, my schedule and my goals for writing, actually building the world allows. I'm kind of having fun going through here and pre-planning out what the effects of enchanting an item with any given spell would be. So that way it's like pre-planned out, and that way it can just sort of stay consistent with how powerful things are. Plus, I've also added the potentiality for any enchanted item to either be cursed or gain sentience. And so it's fun to kind of brainstorm, like, okay, if it's sentient, if it has a personality, what kind of personality does this spell give the item? Or if it's cursed, like, what's the nature of this curse? What's the drawback of it being cursed? So it's just a fun little thing. And given the number of spells versus how common the drops are, because it's like only from a boss and only like a 1 in 20 chance for it to drop. So it's like not a hyper common thing. Which is another reason why I don't worry about handing it out too much, or using that instead of just like like limiting magic items to a +2 hammer of smashing. I don't know. I've never found it to be game breaking doing it this way. I've never found it to be game breaking, and players generally enjoy the sort of unique sense of customization and special happening of getting a magic weapon this way, as opposed to going to the store. I have 8,000 gold. What best weapon can I purchase? Like, it makes it feel earned, and players like that. Players like feeling like they have earned something. So, at any rate, we're just going to go ahead and spend, I've got a little under an hour at this point, but we're just going to spend the next basically an hour working on just kind of working our way through the list and coming up with some enchantment possibilities. And it's like, the other thing about it too is, for me, it's just a good creative writing exercise. It's a good way for me to sort of exercise creative world building in ways. Like, I always love setting challenges for myself and trying to figure out ways to make a creative part of my world based on something that I might not, or based on something that has already kind of started there, because it's really easy to just like make up your own stuff from nothing, or at least I think it is, because there's nothing limiting it. You can just be like, I'm gonna make a spell and it's going to be the poop spell of flame Cheetos, and it's like, you know, the spell produces a chunk of poop in your hand and you throw it and it burns someone's eyes or something. I don't know. Like, it's really easy to do all that, and it's really easy to go overboard with that kind of stuff and end up with something like the flaming poop of Cheeto poop or whatever I just said. But when you start off with like, here's a framework, now mold it to fit in this other framework, it's a fun challenge to try and figure that stuff out. So that's what we're working on. So first one we're going to do here, let's just go down the list. That's what I like doing. Arms of Hadar. Oops, I don't know why I did that. I don't want to do that. We'll just go there. Okay. So the other thing that's fun, what was I just going to say? I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, the other thing that's fun about these two is I try to make sure that the enchantment really embodies the spirit of what the spell was in the first place. Like, I don't just say, like, oh, well, we've got entangle, so now it's going to be, like, you know, regardless of what's in the thing, it'll just be some sort of entangling. No, like, I try to hold it in terms of damage, in terms of scaling it, all that kind of stuff. So, let's see here. Invoke the power of Hadar, the Dark Hunger. Tendrils of dark energy erupt from you and batter all creatures within 10 feet of you. Each creature in that area must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, a target takes 2d6 necrotic damage and can't take reactions until its next turn. On a successful save, the creature takes half damage but suffers no other effect. Okay, alright. That's a cool spell in general. I think that's a cool spell. So here's, I'm actually going to go back to mechanics here, because I'm thinking about... So enchanting and enchanted item rules. Got my co-writer here, my little kitty. She's chilling out next to me. We've had a nice... Well, she's had a nice chill day. She's been just hanging out in her little bed right next to me all day long. I have had a busy day at work, but it has involved me sitting at my desk for a lot of hours, spending a lot of time on the phone, a lot of time checking emails, and it's been a day, but it has been fun having my little kitty just chilling out next to me. She's pretty chill. She's a good companion. But so what I'm coming. Well, why I am coming here into the mechanics, it's easier to maintain consistency if I have a clear-cut set of rules, and so that's what I want to do. So I'm just thinking about, now that we're evolving past cantrips into spell levels, I want to think about, excuse me, spell level and charge number. We'll just do spell level and charge number. So players, so first off, well, here, you know, this spell level, players can imbue a spell into at any level allowable by the spell as it is cast. So that's just to say, you know, like this one, Arms of Hadar, it's a level 1 spell, so they can cast it at level 1 or above level 1, but they can't spell it as they can't imbue it on an item as a cantrip. Players must craft according to the parameters the target level, not the original spell level, is how I want to put that, just to make sure it's clear. Excuse me. Increased damage / effect. Hold up. Oh, I felt that one coming a mile away. Whew, that's one of the ones that stings the nostrils. Yikes. I'm wretched. Oh my god, why does it... Macrium Reflect is constantly telling me that it's ready to update, which I will not do, because my new PC has upgraded, like I was saying, to having been manufactured, or been... I guess manufacture's kind of it. It's been assembled, and will be here probably next week. I am not going to waste the time updating programs on this bad boy, because we are going to give it a nice clean wipe after I get my new one. But the reason that I bring this up and that I stop everything is I have been using this computer for many hours today, and not once has it mentioned to me, not one time, has it mentioned to me anything about Macroom Reflect. And now as soon as I am on my stream, it's gonna freak out about it. And it drives me up the damn wall. Don't understand why it insists on doing that. Anywho. So increased damage / effect matches as closely as possible the parameters established in the spell as it is cast. Boom. Okay, so spell levels will do that. They can do that. And then we're going to do well, actually, you know what, I'm just gonna call that enchantment levels, because we're talking about enchantment, not just spell casting. How enchanting. Oh man. Okay, so the other one I wanted to do is enchantment charges. So we're going to say by default an enchanted, or let's see here, by default any enchantment can be triggered once per day. So that's the other way that we kind of limit it. It's not like, you know, if you do acid spray on a weapon, that every single slash with that weapon does an additional 1d6 of acid damage or something like that. Instead, it's like you can choose to invoke the acid splash enchantment on it and do additional damage, and it's baseline once per day. So that way, even if you have multiple spells imbued on something, because I don't limit how many times someone can imbue a weapon on, or imbue a spell on a weapon or on anything, because I don't limit that. By doing it once per day as a baseline, it makes it so that having multiples doesn't really break anything, or at least not for a long time. Oh, excuse me. The other thing that I always, so this is something that I haven't really actually decided on exactly how it would be, because it hasn't actually come up yet. Having used this system before, it's never come up where someone actually ended up having, excuse me, 2 enchantments on one weapon. But what I think would be more fun is if, well, like, I don't know, I debate back and forth about whether or not a player can invoke each individual spell only at their own will, or if it's like all or nothing. So that way they have to plan their spells so that they're a good cohesive blend, and really time their use of it. Which I think would be fun. I think that would be so fun. Exception being, there are some things, like, because the alternative is, I've thought about trying to find ways to reduce the power of any given spell, so that way, even if it gets, like, it's basically, even if it is an immutable trait of the sword, that's the word I was looking for, an immutable trait of the item, like, you know, so it can be just sort of like find ways to make it so that it's less damaging, and have it just be a baseline trait of the weapon, so that, like, it might always do a little acid damage, but it, like, only does, at level 1, it only does 1 point of acid damage or something like that. So it does that, and it adds that damage that can impact enemies, especially if you have, like, a fire thing and you're using it against something that has a weakness to fire or something like that. Then it's like, boom, you can get a whole lot of extra damage out of it. And that would be kind of fun too, especially, oh, excuse me, especially if, you know, you get cool complementary impacts on things. But like not every the problem is not every spell works best one way or another. Some spells are better if they're just like a baseline trait, like talking about just doing fire damage. That's great to be a baseline trait. Others, not so much. Oh my golly. Oh my golly, I am in a rough state in terms of wakefulness and alertness today. Yeah, talking about whether to make it charges or interaction or like immutable traits. But yeah, not every spell works great in either way. Like I say, the fire can like making it do fire damage is great as just sort of like a trait of the weapon now. Something like create bonfire though, very different. It would be quite the hassle if every time you swung your sword, a bonfire appeared. So it's a hard one, and I think usually what it comes down to is reading the nature of the spell and determining if it's one that's more about can be used once per day or is an immutable factor. So what I'm going to do here is by default any enchantment can be triggered once per day, and I think I like just keeping that as the default baseline, especially when it comes to weapon or damage spells. Some spells may manifest as an immutable trait of the item that has been imbued. May cause let's see here. I actually how do I want to say this? We'll say spells in, well, let's see here, in situation where spell is imbued as a trait, the damage / impact of that spell is greatly reduced. Let's see, and then this other one is if multiple traits added to a single item will cause unique intermingling of the magics into one single multiple to one single item. The traits are added to a single item will cause unique of the magics. Okay, no, I was there. I just brain farted hard there and lost track of what I was writing in the middle of writing it. That's the other thing. I've been kind of tired today. Kind of burnt out, so if I seem a little loopy, that's why. And so then the other thing I wanted to say here is additional daily charges per charged spell can be added by adding how do I want to word this? I just want to word this so it's clear. By adding necessary CP equal to a single charge for each additional charge that is added. There we go. Okay, so I just wanted to hash that out, and I actually think, oh boy, excuse me, oh, my Lanta. Okay, I just wanted to hash that out so that way I had sort of like a sense of consistency going about it as I'm trying to work on some of these. So, now we can go back to magic here. So, arms of Hadar. Hadar gonna hate. So, this one I think is going to be... So here, what I want to do... we're going to say this is a charge-based imbuement. And I say imbuement instead of enchantment for these things, just because enchanting is a school of magic within this world, and I don't want there to be confusion, because the enchantment school, while it is like primarily spells intended to be exactly like this, it also includes a lot of spells for like enchanting humans, so it's used a little differently than how I'm using it right now here. And really, I think imbuement is actually a more accurate terminology, or a more accurate word to use, because it's exactly what I'm doing. I'm imbuing. I'm adding one single thing to the weapon. So this is a charge-based imbuement. So we just do that, and then now we're going to get our bullets, and I gotta remember exactly what everything is. Okay, oh shoot. This is not a local number. I will not be answering that. I always have to be responsible and answer my work phone when necessary, but my work phone gets a lot of spam, and I do my best to screen obvious spam calls as best I can, so that way I don't exacerbate the problems by confirming that it is a live functional phone line. Okay, so we're going to start off here, so we're going to talk about if it's imbued on weapons. How do I structure this? Okay. Invoke, okay, let me read this again. You invoke the power of Hadar, the dark hunger. Tendrils of dark energy erupt from you and batter all creatures within 10 feet of you. Each creature in that area must make a strength saving throw. Hi, sweetie. On a failed save. Oh, that's a good kitty. You want to snuggle up? What a sweetie. I have my little assistant helping me out here. There she is. Oh, maybe not for long, though. She is very excited and intrigued by all of the birds that are outside these days. She loves the birds. Oh, no, come on. Gotta get that angle. It's just right. There we go. That's good. We love the birds, don't we, honey? So, on weapons. Let's see here. On once per day on a successful attack with the weapon, the user can invoke the spell. How am I organizing these? I don't know. I'm being unclear about how I've done it beforehand. It's the problem with taking long breaks in between writing sessions. I don't really remember what I was working on or why I was doing something one way or another. But yeah, so we'll just do once per day, and just it's understood that it might be more than once per day. Actually, no, we're not even going to do that, because the baseline is once per day. So we're just going to go ahead and say, on a successful attack with the weapon, the user can invoke the spell. Let's see here. Tendrils of dark energy erupt from the weapon used. to hit each nearby enemy. By enemy, enemies make, what was it? Strength saving throw. Strength save to determine to determine if saved. No, that's not how I want to say that. So what we're going to do with this too. DC equal to the total attack roll made. So that way it's like if you get a natural 20, then they're gonna have to really, you know, and the enemy's gonna have to really get lucky to survive that without, you know, the reduced damage or whatever it is. Hit. Okay. I almost kind of want to make these all separate bullets, honestly. Yeah, I think that works as separate bullets. So to determine if hit, thank you, work computer, for the reminder of something that I've already taken care of, so I don't need to worry about it. Neat. That's here. If hit. Hey, how's it going, Spesh? Welcome in. We've got about a half hour left. It's a shorter session today. I was very busy with work. But we're working on some stuff, and because I didn't have a whole lot of time to delve into a dungeon, I am working on just inventing some potential enchantments for spells, just for the sake of doing some world building and some exercising on creative creation. I don't know. Fuck it. So we're working on an enchantment concept for Arms of Hadar at the moment. So we're just going to say if hit 2d6 necrotic damage, if saved half as much, and then I wanted to do at, let's see here, at higher levels, oh, you know what? That's very generous. Especially, I assume, are you talking about in D&D Beyond? Is what I would assume. So that, and if that's the case, yeah, okay, that's extremely generous. But if I were you, I would save that for someone else who has less access, because I have just through crowdfunding with my friends who I play with online, so that we can all split them, and just spending my own money. I actually have access to most of the D&D Beyond books, so that is extremely generous, and I really appreciate that. But my wish is for you to save it and hopefully get someone in who is who has less access than I do. Because I just feel like it would be wasted on me, because I've already got access to so much of it as it is. But whoa, there goes the cat. We saw a bird and we're very interested in it. But yeah, I think it would almost be wasted on me, because I have so much of it already. But that's very kind of you. I appreciate the offer, and I think it's really cool that you're just that you're kind of paying it forward by sharing that. I think that's a cool thing to do. I mean, like, that's kind of what I try to do with all of my groups that my campaigns that I DM for. you know, I try to make sure that I can invite as many of them as possible to share whatever resources I'm using. So I think that's a cool thing. Let's see here. What was I saying? Oh yeah, at higher levels, add 1d6 damage for each level. Okay, so yeah, so there we go. So that kind of covers everything that would be there on the enchantment for the weapon. So now we're going to go ahead and do armor. So I'm trying to decide. So it's always a challenge to try and think about armors, because I like it to kind of be like a defensive / reactionary thing. But it's always hard for me to decide whether or not that reaction and that defense should be up to the player, or if it's more interesting that it just sort of happens. And I guess what I lean towards, and I've probably reached this conclusion before, is I lean towards the player can choose to invoke it as their reaction if it's on an item, if it's on like a worn item, so they can choose to invoke it either as an action or as a reaction. So it's like if they get hit, then they can like reaction, you know, they've got their breastplate imbued with it. Then as a reaction, they can invoke the spell, you know, to shoot in this case, shoot the tendrils out onto whoever attacked them. And then, so it's like they can choose to do it. But then if the item is cursed and or sentient, then the item might disregard what the character would choose and cast the spell on its own anyway. I think that's where I'm leading. So action or reaction. A reaction to getting hit with. We're just gonna say reaction to getting hit in combat. I think that's pretty clear. The spell can be invoked by the wearer. Let's see here. It's going to be nearby enemy. I should actually clarify this to make sure it says within 10 feet. So let's see here, and we're gonna copy and paste all of this because it's still the same whether it's offensive or defensive. I don't know if there's anything else, and that kind of covers everything. Yeah, because it really is an offensive spell. So even if you put it on armor, it's kind of more like I say, like a retaliatory thing, a reactionary thing. So we're gonna do that. But now as for the fun part, sentience / curse. Curse? Curse. There it is. This is my favorite part about doing it. No matter how unlikely it is for the item to become sentient or cursed, this is my favorite part to just think about how would the spell impact the function of the weapon if it was sentient. Like, I don't know. Something about that is just fun to me. Sentience. Personality personality traits. So just like in general. So I like the concept of this one, because it's necrotic energy, because it's tendrils. Let's see here. So we're gonna say item develops a strong hunger that is satisfied through stealing the life force of foes. Yeah, I like that. So it's like really dark, brooding thing. It's just like I hunger, and just like, you know, constantly does that shit. Like, it's a trope, but I mean, come on. There's not much better for something that literally shoots out black tendrils of necrotic energy. Like, what else is that other than something intentionally siphoning siphoning stuff into its own thing? But it's just a personality trait. It doesn't increase its power or anything, which just kind of makes it a little sadistic, honestly. My 2 cents anyway, but I think that's a fun idea. So now, let's see here. If it's good, pretty much the default, if it's good personality, let's see here, will obey user. Why am I blanking on how to spell obey? Obey, there it is with the EY. Golly, my brain is just not working right now. Oh, I'm tired. It's been a long week, and I'm at the tail end of it, and I am so ready to not work this weekend and just be able to relax a little bit. I got a D&D game scheduled for tomorrow, which should be fun. Don't really need to do any prep work for that D&D group. That's the one that's going through Tyranny of Dragons, so it's like, hell, 5 minutes beforehand, I'll just brush up on where they left off, and we're good to go. So if it's good, it will obey the user's wishes, encourages only stealing life force from evil creatures. If it's evil, may disobey user and cast spell at its own. Oops, no, there's no apostrophe in that. Its own will. Also constantly. Well, no, we're just gonna do that because I think what I'm getting at for the next part. So if it's good, evil, lawful. If it's lawful, I'm trying to think about what would be like a lawful personality for something like this. I feel like that's almost just like, let's see. I'm gonna say, actually, for this one, we're gonna say hardly speaks except let's see here, hardly speaks except to say things like yes master, or God, I'm basically just making Darth Vader here, aren't I? Yes master, or as you wish. Yeah, I'm basically just making it Darth Vader. I'm okay with that. Lawful, and then chaotic. Chaotic is just going to be constantly pesters owner about being hungry and wanting to feed. Oh, nice. Got a new set of headphones. What kind of headphones you get? I've been thinking about upgrading my headset, but then I don't because it costs money, and this one still works, and I'm a cheap bastard. Especially right now after I got so spendy with my new computer, which should be showing up next week, so it'll be worth it. But yeah, I got to tighten up the budget for a little while. Oh, nice. Okay, all right, fair enough. I have no experience with those, but I have historically been a bit of an audiophile. I have fallen away from that personality trait of mine, not because I stopped appreciating high fidelity, the Ninja headphones. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on why they were dubbed that, but I think Ninjas are pretty badass, personally. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm a little too innocent or something. I don't know. But yeah, I used to be a really strong audiophile. Used to really love trying to get like really high quality, high fidelity sound when listening to music, and I still really appreciate that. But it that was an easier hobby to have. I find that was an easier hobby to have back when I was in college, just because I had more time to just sit and like close my eyes and listen to music and really focus on that kind of stuff. Whereas nowadays music is more of a background thing, so I don't really take the time to slow down and just like appreciate the high quality of music. For me, it's more about just generally speaking the substance of the music as opposed to the recording quality. So oh, gotcha. Okay, because Ninja uses them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like politics behind, is it good or bad to use something that this, that, or the other known personality uses? I mean, like, I think people get a little worked up about that kind of stuff. Man, if you like the headphones and if they're good quality and you enjoy them, then who gives a shit who else uses them? You know, it's like whatever, man. A good product's a good product. Who cares? You know, who cares what the stigma about it is? That's what I always feel. Like, that's just my 2 cents, though. It's like, and of course there's some things that I'm a hypocrite about that too, because there's some things where I'm like, oh god, you use that, it's so basic. Like, everyone has their things, but I guess that's kind of exactly why it doesn't matter. It's like, if you don't care, then who cares? Like, I have my opinions about certain products and everything like that, but fuck, man, if someone else likes the product even though I hate it, then it's like, who cares? Nice. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Like, if you love them, then use them. Yeah, I haven't had a good I had a good audio mixer, a good what's the frickin' a good like sort of desk amp for headphones and stuff, but it crapped out a while ago and I just never bothered replacing it. Like I say, I don't know, like, I still really love to sit and listen to some really good high quality audio, and I do still play with mixers. Yeah, you know, like at least the default mixers that exist on whatever computer, whatever, you know, sound source I'm using. But it just isn't, you know, it isn't a focus of my life anymore. And it's just, I don't even consider that an unfortunate thing. It's just sort of, you know, your priorities and interests change. I do definitely still goof around with it, and if there's a song that is like particularly well balanced or something like that, I'll take a moment to appreciate it. But yeah, I just don't spend the time on it anymore. I used to really get into it back in the day. I've always been big. I actually, for me, I'm not much of a bass head, because I actually, typically speaking, will listen to a lot more rock and metal, which those genres tend to favor more of a average bass, higher highs, and scooping the mids is usually what serves it best. So that way you're not overpowered by those like mid-string guitar tones, and instead you can really, you know, you keep the bass mid, you scoop the mids out so that way they don't overpower. Keep the bass as it is so that way you can still hear bass lines, you know, coming from a bass guitar without it getting too thumpy and too almost like washed out. Like, it's not that the bass gets washed out, it's more so that the bass will wash everything else out. If it has too much sustain, like if you bump the bass too much, it'll tend to overpower everything else. But then you shoot up the highs too. Shoot up the high, that there's a lot of connotations there. But yeah, if you raise the highs a little bit, that makes sure that those sort of more subtle guitar parts that are present. What are you doing? This cat. Oh, I know what she's doing. She's getting mad because she's hungry. But yeah, if you lift those highs up there, it really helps you pick out the small little flares that they'll add with guitars in the middle. I mean, when there's a solo, they blast that forward in just the standard mixing so much that you can't miss it, obviously. But a lot of songs will have little trills and little flicks with different higher notes that add something as long as you can hear them. So that's always kind of what my audio profile is. But you know, these days, like, I've kind of figured out the headphones that I like that do a pretty good job without taking too much extra work. I always go with the I actually find that just using Superlux headphones, which are just like the Chinese knockoffs of like Sennheisers and stuff like that, but I mean, hell, man, they do the job. Cost like $20 for a good set of over-ear cans. These are actually Turtle Beaches. These are real shitty old Turtle Beaches, but they work, and I'm cheap. But interestingly enough, when it comes to, see, now I'm off, and I say I'm not interested in audio, and here I go. But interestingly, what I find when it comes to in-ears, for just like earbuds, my in-ear monitors that I use, I actually find that the Skullcandy Inked line, I have yet to find a set of earbuds that I enjoy more than those. I'm not going to sit here and act like they're high quality, because you put on any set of over-ear cans and you're going to obviously get better than that, but just these bad boys right here, Skullcandy, these are the Bluetooth ones no less, these Skullcandy Inked. I'm looking at the thing and not at the camera. These things, they work wonders, and by being the Bluetooth, they're amazing because I can use them when I'm working out. I can use them when I go for a run. I can use them when I'm lifting weights and everything, and I don't have the cords getting in the way. They're durable. They're intended for working out. They've got the little extra rubber bits so they stay in my ears just fine, and the sound quality, I haven't found, at least not an affordable pair of in-ears that sound as good. Like, you can find them, certainly, but for the price, man, you can't beat it. Those things, the Bluetooth, even the Bluetooth ones like that, it's like $40 for a set of those. As long as you're willing to go on Amazon and accept whatever color's on sale at any given time. You can't beat that for the sound quality. Anything else at that same price point sounds like shit. So I don't know. That's what I use these days, and it's just it's funny. But the thing is too is with like high fidelity audio, I am not someone. I'm not a hi-fi head here who sits here and professes that there are objective best and worst headphones. Audio quality and mixing is such a personal thing based on what you prefer, that if someone tells me that they want the heaviest bass you can find out of just a Beats by Dre that you can find in in Best Buy, if that's what makes you happy listening to music, then hell, man, I'm not going to tell you to not do that. Music's just about enjoying it. Music's 50% what was made and 50% what you take in from it. So if that's what makes you enjoy it, then god damn it, just use it. Who cares what me or anyone else thinks about it? So long story short, I'm glad you like your new headphones. That's awesome. Alright, what happens with this thing when it's cursed? Let's see here. First off, as always, requires magical means to remove. And then, so what I'm thinking with the curse is, when the spell is invoked, will also, let's see here, will not discriminate between caster, friend, or foe. And then we'll just go ahead and do that and say all creatures in range are hit. Boom. I like that. I think that's a kind of a cool one. I think that's a cool way to do the curse for that one too, because it's just like it shoots out tendrils and that'll hit everyone. It consumes everything. It has a hunger, and it will do whatever it needs to be fed. Okay, so I'm gonna try and see if we can really quickly. I got 9 minutes, and I guess I can go just a smidge long too. I'm gonna try and get 2 done because I've only done 1 spell. I spent so much time working on, adding a couple things to the rules and the mechanics of the enchantment crafting system that I use, and then talking about head ear things. I don't know. That was a stupid way to say sound quality. I don't know. It's kind of fun talking about sound quality though. It's been a long time since I've really thought about quality audio output. It's been a long time since I thought about that. You can kind of see. Let me move my head. You can see the big ass speak. Hold on. Gotta move my finger. Wait, hold on. Do that and then down. Right there. That's one of the 2 speakers that I have for my my theater system, and I love those speakers. They're great speakers. They're not. I don't even know what brand they are. They're old ones from like the 70s that my dad has had, but they're just well broken in. They're warm. They're solid. And they're just the simplest things. You can plug them into any amp and they work. They're so cool. So I do use those a lot. But that's kind of the only place where I worry about good sound quality. I've got a decent amp that those are hooked up to, that I've hooked up to my entertainment system there, that has Bluetooth, so it's real easy for me to hook up my phone and I can listen to music. So if I am in the mood for high quality, I can always pull that up, and that's got pretty decent sound quality going for it. So that's the extent of it. But I'm getting distracted again, man. It's been so long. It's kind of fun thinking about that stuff again. I haven't flexed that part of my creative brain in quite some time. But ensnaring strike, okay, it says it's a bonus action. Ooh, a bonus action. Let me see here. The next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack before the spell ends, whoops, writhing mass of thorny vines. For a second I didn't see the T there, and I thought it said horny vines, and I was getting real excited. But nope. Wrong stream for that one. Thorny vines appears at the point of impact, and the target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained by magical vines until the spell ends. A large or larger creature has advantage on this saving throw. The target succeeds on the save, the vines shrivel away. Yeah, so I think I think this one's a bonus action. So the way we're going to say, so this is is a charge-based imbuement. So what I'm gonna do on weapons as a bonus action, after a okay, and this makes me think here. What I want to say is, let's see here. Yeah, I think that's good. And I want to. So for this one, if it's supposed to be a bonus action, I kind of want to say, as a bonus action. No, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it as a bonus action. We're just going to go ahead and say this one as... Let's see here. We're just going to copy and paste it because it's faster. Nope. God damn it. My hand is like super cold and not behaving with the mouse here. Excuse me. That was not dainty at all. User can invoke the spell. Boom. Let's see here. Mass of thorny vines, not any other type of vine. Thorny vines. That's a. Oh god, that just made me think of the magic item, the Ring of the Grammarian, where the concept is you can change one letter of a spell that was cast. To change the impact of it. Oh man, that changes. Man, taking away that T for thorny vines, and that's taking the whole spread love not war moniker to entirely new levels of literal interpretation. A mass of thorny vines erupts. God, just all kinds of innuendos coming here. Erupts from the weapon, entangling the target. Let's see here. Target makes a strength. There it is. A strength save. DC, we just do equals attack roll. Oh, you got a Switch. Nice. Got any what super awesome badass game are you playing on it first? I love my Switch. I really love my Switch. My only wish is that they had waited on the Switch until they made better games with the Wii U. Oh, nice. The Monster Hunter Edition. That's awesome. Yeah, I almost wished I didn't have one so I could get that one. I love Monster Hunter, man. It's a solid game. Nice. That's Man, that's an awesome life you got going there, man. If you've got a partner that'll just hand you a Switch, like, fuck, man. I gotta hand myself all this stuff. I'm all by my lonesome these days. I'm like, I got a sweet ass new computer, but that came from my own bank account. But that's awesome. Oh, Pokemon Shield, nice. I've been playing Sword. I don't play through Sword very quick. I don't play through Pokemon games very quick these days, because I find that they just don't really require a whole lot of, like, they're really easy to jump back into after a long break. So on the Switch, I have a game of Pokemon Sword going, but I actually only really play that when I'm traveling. So that way I have a solid, awesome game that I can play when I'm traveling to, like, visit my parents for a weekend, or, you know, like where I was last week where I went and visited my friends a couple states away. It's really nice having, like, a legit, solid, good game to play rather than just, like, playing, well, I guess I'll just, like, I don't know, play some Monopoly or play some Rocket League. It's nice to have, like, a narrative RPG that I can play, and I find Pokemon games to be really solid for that, because they really make the story simple and easy to worry about, or easy to pick back up and not worry about. Yeah, that's I've heard that on the new ones the battery especially is up to par. I got one of the original ones. I got it used. And so so even though I got it a while after the Switch released, it's one of the original Switches, and the battery is okay. It depends on what game you're playing. I find that, like I say though, like when it comes to playing it handheld, because I live alone, I can always play on the TV pretty much. So when I'm doing it handheld, it's when I'm away, you know, visiting other people, which means that during the day, I'm not spending a whole lot of time gaming. It's really just at night for, you know, once all the daily activities have wound down, and so we're just chilling for like an hour before bed or something like that. That's when I'll break it out. So it's not been an issue for me, but it definitely does not have a solid battery. Not like the new models that they keep rolling out. Let's see here. Fail is restrained. Boom. Okay. I want to just finish up doing what's in the weapons, because I do got to get going here pretty soon. So I'm just going to finish up all the details required for the for the on weapons, because then it'll be easy to fall back in and do on armors. So it's restrained. If it succeeds on a fail, is restrained. On succeeds, it doesn't work. While restrained, the target takes 1d6 piercing damage at the start of each turn. If restrained, target takes 1d6 pointy damage until at, what does it say, at the end? At the start. At beginning of turn. Strength save each turn until success. Boom. There we go. Let's see here, and then it's at higher levels. It can actually just copy and paste because it's the exact same fucking thing. Boom. Control C. We got a Control V that ish. Boom. There it is. Okay. All right. I think that's really good. That'll be fun. I don't know. I like this. I like this little project. And it's like I kind of went on a sort of a descriptive tangent at the beginning, talking about how I justify this, because a lot of people feel like turning all of these spells into enchantments and letting players just sort of enchant weapons with whatever they want as long as they get the supplies. I know a lot of people get concerned about balance and stuff, but man, first off, I haven't found it to be that imbalanced, and second off, man, it's a game. Who cares if it's a little tipped one way or another? It's fun to have these things, and players enjoy that. They enjoy that sort of customization that comes in with this. It's like, fuck, man, if you devote everything into stealth in Skyrim, yeah, it's unbalanced and broken, but people love it because it's fun, and if you don't like it, then just don't do it, you know? So I have fun with this stuff, and I like this, and I'm glad I was able to carve a little bit of time out today to sort of work on this type of stuff, because I don't get a whole lot of time to do that all the time. All the times, I don't always have a lot of time to time this time. It's a lot of times in one sentence. But yeah, I'm going to call it there, because I do got to get myself going. It's not as urgent today, but I am planning on being out the door by like 4:45, and that gives me 12 minutes to change and get ready for that. So, but yeah, no, fun stuff. Fun stuff. I dig it. I'm glad I was able to get some time to stream and do some writing today too, because work was threatening to not let me do that. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for anyone stopping in while it was live. Thanks for anyone watching the VODs. As always, the VOD for this will be up on my Twitch channel and on my YouTube channel. Feel free to check it out at either place if you want to see everything that went on, during this session or any previous sessions. The YouTube channel especially for the sort of ever-growing library of stuff I've played in the past. But yeah, so tomorrow I do intend in the evening at some point, evening my time, I do intend to get on and stream a little bit more Viscera cleanup. I got nothing going on tomorrow night, so I'm going to be gaming one way or another. Might as well play a icky, disgusting game and laugh about it with other people while I'm playing. So if if it helps anyone watching right now, it is 4:30 local time, and I am likely to play it at around 7 to 8 o'clock local time. So think anywhere from 3 to 4 hours ish from right here, right now, for when it'll be tomorrow. Or the VODs will go up, and you can always watch the replays. But yeah, we'll be doing that, and depending on the timing. No, tomorrow won't be the last time we play Viscera for a while. I'll probably play Viscera most of next week as well. But my new computer it was upgraded, and it has been assembled, and they are now just like benchmarking it and troubleshooting it and making sure that everything is cohesively installed as far as OS goes. So next week I will have a new computer, which means I will be starting some sort of new graphic heavy game. I haven't decided what. I'm kind of debating between finding a new recent game that has some amazing graphics, or pulling up an old game and modding the shit out of it. It's like every dragon in Skyrim is now Randy Savage. Fuzroda, brother, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'll be debating that, but hopefully that'll be happening next week. But until then, yeah, we'll be doing some Viscera cleanup. But yeah, last one for this week will be tomorrow, and then next week, planning on keeping up with Monday, Wednesday, Friday being writing streams, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday being gaming streams. But that's what I got going on in my streaming life. And now it's time for me to go do other things in my not streaming life. Because life is complicated, and we all have too much stuff to deal with on our plates, and then we wonder why we're all haggard, anxious, and depressed. No, it's actually good stuff I got going on this evening. It's a Friday evening. It's going to be a fun evening for me. But I got to get going for it. So thank you for everyone who stopped by. Thank you for everyone who watched the VODs. And as always, as I've sort of made my habit, my call to anyone is go out there and just be good to each other. Spread some goodness in the world. Try to just give someone a smile. Share a smile with someone. Get someone else to smile. If we all try to do that every day, I feel like generally speaking, we'd see happiness go up in the world. And I have yet to hear an argument for why that. I have yet to hear a good argument for why that would be a bad thing. So. Just go out, be good to each other. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time.